Here's a movie that a lot of people will probably argue and say isn't a horror movie, but I don't care. It is a horror movie. David Lynch's masterpiece of a movie, Lost Highway. For me, Lost Highway is really where David Lynch started to experiment with the possibilities of film and storytelling in general. It's possibly one of his most confusing and weird movies, and in my opinion, one of, if not his best. The film has two different storylines that blend together. The first story follows Fred and his wife Renee, played by Bill Pullman and Patricia Arquette. Fred and Renee start receiving weird videotapes recorded of their house. One of them even records the inside of the house. The two of them start to become very paranoid and even go to the police. At a party, Fred meets a man simply known as the Mystery Man. The Mystery Man explains to Fred that he once met Fred at his house. In fact,
I'm there right now.
the following day, Fred receives another videotape which shows him murdering his wife. And then he is put on trial and sentenced to death. He starts to have really bad headaches and keeps having weird visions. During a routine morning check, the guards discover something strange. Somehow, Fred has disappeared and in his place is a young auto mechanic known as Pete. The rest of the film follows Pete. Pete becomes friends with a gangster called Mr. Eddie. One day, Pete meets Mr. Eddie's mistress, Alice, played again by Patricia Arquette. Pete and Alice start to have an affair and decide that they need to run away together, otherwise Mr. Eddie is going to murder them. The rest of the plot is really hard to describe without spoiling the entire movie. It's definitely an odd film that really makes you think, and that's what I think makes the film interesting. It makes you think. The film doesn't answer every single question it asks, and a lot of the time when it does, you didn't realise it did. The film really isn't one that you can watch once and fully understand. You have to truly think about what happens in the film, what the possible themes of the movie are, and then you may come to grips with the meaning of the movie. The film is all about sex, murder, betrayal, and evil. It uses strange imagery and weird plot devices to show this. There are many incredibly creepy scenes in the movie, as well as a few that are really hard to watch. There is a scene where you see a flashback of when Alice first met Mr. Eddie, with Marilyn Manson's cover of I Put a Spell on You playing in the background. This scene truly unnerved me. The film actually does that a lot and makes you feel uncomfortable, something David Lynch has always been good at doing. He gives every character personality, which for me kept the movie interesting and watchable. By the end of the film, I felt confused and completely drained, but honestly, I cannot deny that I enjoyed the film. The problem I have with his movie Mulholland Drive is that I really didn't enjoy the movie, and a lot of the time I had no idea what was happening or even the purpose for why it was happening. At least with Lost Highway, I picked up on a lot of the themes and started to come up with my own theory for what the film meant in the end. I think it's one of, if not David Lynch's best film, and definitely one I would recommend. I can see why so many people are mixed about it, but I personally loved it. I only saw it for the first time earlier this year, but I've already watched it a couple of times and I definitely see it becoming one of my favourite movies. I give it a 10 out of 10.